This video is sponsored by Vikings: War of Clans. This is a great game, and if you just play it for a few minutes, you'll see why it's so addicting. This resembles some of the greatest PC strategy games of the 90s and 2000s we've admired before, but now it's finally on mobile, so you can play it when you have a bit of time to spare. The thrill of the battles between the Western and Eastern coalitions leave nobody indifferent. A new battle is starting this month, and we need you. Yes, you. Come play this game with me. My username is Scare Theater. Support my channel, download Vikings from the links below, and get my special bonus of 200 gold for a fast and successful start. Since the late 1800s, people have been using the Ouija board as a means to communicate with spirits. While some will swear this truly serves as a reliable way of talking to ghosts, others will claim this is the result of the mind subconsciously moving the planchette to get the expected result, also known as the ideomotor effect. I've gone more into detail with the ideomotor effect in a previous video I made a while ago about Ouija boards. Many people that use Ouija boards will encounter a spirit that causes extreme uneasiness and depression. This is sometimes followed by dark shadow movements around the board, and finally, the planchette spelling out the name of a very well-known entity, Zozo. Communication with this spirit, as well as the events that follow, are known as the Zozo phenomenon. Zozo isn't a recently known entity. It's been around for a while. The first reported appearance of Zozo was mentioned in a book written in 1818 called Dictionnaire Infernal, which translates to Infernal Dictionary. It was a book about demonology that divided demons into hierarchies, along with providing illustrations of them. In this book, the author describes an unnamed girl in 1816 who was the victim of a very extreme demonic possession. During the possession, she became the vessel for several demons, one of which was Zozo. Zozo has been known to be contacted through several means, such as pendulums and EVPs, but he's most commonly contacted through the use of a Ouija board. I mentioned some signs of contacting Zozo earlier, but other signs of contacting him include rapid figure 8 movements on the planchette, and the planchette spelling out other names which include Zaza, Mama, Oz, or Abacus. Since Zozo is typically seen as evil, there are precautions given to people who do contact him. This includes closing the Ouija session as soon as possible, smudging the board with sage, and of course, it is advised to not say his name. Some people even go as far as getting rid of the board entirely. There are many stories online of people sharing their alleged encounters with Zozo. One of these stories was shared by someone named April on YourGhostStories.com. April had recently moved in with her sister, and they wanted to celebrate by having some friends over. Just for fun, they decided to use a Ouija board to see what would happen. They placed the Ouija board on the table, put their hands on the planchette, and asked if anyone was there. The board replied yes, so they asked the spirit what its name was. It replied by moving the planchette back and forth from Z to O repeatedly. They asked what it wanted, and it replied, her. After they asked what it meant, it spelled out the name of one of April's friends, then went back to spelling Zozo repeatedly again. One of April's friends got frustrated at this point, and decided to provoke the spirit by swearing at it. After that, things began to go downhill. The planchette began to heat up underneath their fingers, and the spirit began to spell out Mama on the board. They felt like there was another presence in the room with them, and things didn't feel right. April was filled with feelings of hatred and anger, and then started laughing and crying at the same time. The group decided that was enough and ended the session. That was just one of the many stories you can find detailing an experience with Zozo. But that's all a lot of these really are, stories. There isn't a way to actually verify any of them, so a lot of these people could just be totally making it up. There are also a countless number of videos on YouTube of people contacting Zozo, but these can be just as questionable. A paranormal researcher named Darren Evans owns a blog at zozotheouijaspirit.blogspot.com, where he discusses all of the information he has gathered about Zozo. One of his blog posts includes a news story about a 15-year-old kid in Texas who stabbed his friend with a 4-inch knife. His reason for doing so was because a spirit on the Ouija board told him to do it. Luckily, the kid survived. Evans believes this case may possibly be linked to Zozo, but I'm pretty sure the kid just had mental problems if he was seriously willing to stab his friend because a wooden board told him to. Another blog post from Evans details the time that he was using a Ouija board back in the winter of 2001. He contacted Zozo and was told to take a picture if he wanted to see his face. He followed the instructions and took a picture, and this is what he saw. It appears to be the face of something. This isn't the only supposed picture of Zozo that was taken. There was a case in Oklahoma where a family had several Ouija sessions in which they contacted Zozo. During one of these encounters, they said a ball of fire was hovering around their house, so they took this picture of it. If you increase the contrast of the picture, you can see what appears to be some type of entity facing away from the camera, and there might even be horns on its head. One of the most recent posts on Darren Evans' blog includes video footage he took while he was on the set of a horror film based on Zozo. In the ancient Basque language, Zozo translates to blackbird or crow. Take a look at this video. Evan says he was recording the crow because it was taunting him, whatever that's supposed to mean. Because the crow appears to disappear out of sight, he believes it may have been a manifestation of Zozo. I'm not really sure if I believe that one though. I mean, there were a lot of branches in the way here, and you can see the bird go behind one of the branches before supposedly disappearing. So I'm sure we just lost sight of it after it flew behind a branch. All of this just scratches the surface of the Zozo entity. Evans' blog is full of much more information about Zozo, ranging from stories to Zozo numerology. Some people out there will swear that Zozo truly does exist, while others will say he's nothing more than fiction, since there just isn't enough evidence. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.